welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. As you can see, I have not done any kind of anything to my face yet. I wanted to do a full-on makeup look with you guys today. So, I actually did moisturize and prime, so I will take that back. But let's go in with this Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer just to conceal under my eyes to get these dark spots out of the way. And this is in the shade Light Vanilla, because you know I'm a light vanilla kind of person. So I'm just going to bring this down right here to my cheek area because they get a little red sometimes. I'm going to take my Real Techniques Beauty Blender and the Mario Badescu Cucumber Spray and just spray my Beauty Blender down so we get it nice and moist, and then I'm just going to blend this in. Okay. Now that we have that blended down, well, almost. I like to get as close to my under eye as I can to get that redness and darkness gone. Okay, just like that. Now that we have that blended in, I'm going to go in with some of the Makeup Revolution banana powder on that same beauty sponge. I'm just going to dip into this and set my under eye so we don't get any creases in the concealer. I get a little bit more out here. Okay, now that we have that in place, I'm next going to go in with my Sephora MicroSmooth powder, and this is in the shade Light. And I'm just going to take a big, let's see, I think I'll go in with this Morphe M39. This is like a buffer brush. I like to use this brush because if I didn't get all of that concealer blended in down around this area right here, this will help kind of buff that in. And I like this powder because it is very micro smooth, like its name. It goes on very lightweight, but covers pretty well. I don't like to use foundation on my whole face because, for one, even after I use a primer, my pores are still like, hello, I'm here. But it also makes my face look really cakey most of the time. It feels heavy. It doesn't matter what foundation I use. I still have not found one that doesn't make me feel like a heavy face. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in medium brown and the number 12. Yeah, number 12 Anastasia brush. And I'm just going to kind of give my eyebrows some color. I have that microblading done and they're starting to heal. They're healing up very nicely. I've only had my first pass done so far. But where they are healing, they've kind of faded out quite a bit. So I'm just going to go in with this just to darken them up. And what I do is I just go a little bit below and a little bit above my normal brow line. And I just kind of create a line on the bottom here. Bring that around and back down into my tail. And we're going to clean this up too, so it doesn't matter if it's sloppy. And then on the top, I try not to put too much product towards the front there, because I don't want it to be super heavy and dark looking. I try to keep more of the product at the end here, and then just work it back towards the front, so going backwards. I normally go ahead and do my foundation, or not foundation, but my base and concealer and all that, and my eyebrows before I get on camera, because it is such a time-consuming process that this video will probably be kind of lengthy. But I haven't done a full face on here for you guys yet, so I wanted to do that. Okay, can you see how I kept some of it a little lighter in the front? That's just going to create the more natural look than having such a harsh, defined front area. I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to try my best to stay in the frame so you guys can see me. Little baby hairs are getting in the way. We are going to go back in and clean all this up, so it doesn't matter if it looks sloppy. Just take some concealer to it and it will look fine. I'm going to go in with the Tarte Shape Tape to do this with. And I'm just going to grab one of these brushes. It does not have a number, but it's in the Morphe 12-piece Eye Credible set. And it is a very, very good concealing brush for defining your eyebrows. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that on here, like this. And I start out a little bit below and then work my way back up. That way I don't get too much product right at the top there and in the eyebrow. Then I'm just going to take a little bit of it up the top too, just to kind of define this tail. I'm just going to make the tail look more crisp and sharp. And then I'll take my finger sometimes and just kind of go right back up underneath that, just to get any harsh little edges or anything gone. And I'm just going to do that same thing on this side. And if you're just starting out on eyebrows, I would recommend the Anastasia Brow Definer, which is the triangular shaped one with the spoolie on the other end, or the Brow Wiz, which is the really thin one with the spoolie on the other end, or just any kind of pencil versus the Dip Brow Pomade, because it is harder to work with. And you need to learn how to get your hand, like your strokes and your heavy-handedness, you know, where it needs to be before you try to go in with a pomade or any kind of like liquid. Okay, it looks pretty good to me. And if you want to come down the front right here at the top, you can do that as well if you got it messy up in there. These don't look that bad up at the top, so I don't really need to do that. But I will do it just to show you guys. Just stay right along the edge there. And come right down. And there you have a brow. So I'm just going to take the spoolie on the end of my number 12 brush, and I just start from the front and go back. This just works the product through and kind of blends and evens everything out if you have, you know, any that has too much in one certain area. There's no more product on this brush. There was a little gap right there, so I'm just going to try to work some of this that's already there back in. Okay, now I'm going to take my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel and set these bad boys in place. And if you guys have been with me from the beginning, you already know I keep everything in its little box. I don't know why. Well, one of the reasons is I have a son that's 14 months old that likes to mess, and so when he gets into my makeup and starts throwing it around the room, it won't break as easy if it's still protected in its box. So this is just the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. And you can pick this up at Ulta or Sephora. And I want to say it's around like 20 bucks, but I'm not 100% sure. And it does have a really potent smell. I don't know what they put in this stuff to make it smell like that, but it is not a good smell. Okay. Now, the next step is going to be to contour. And I'm going to go in with my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette to do that with. This being one of the examples why I keep things in their original box, because my son likes to throw this one a lot because it's just one right here keeps trying to pop out. So alright, I'm going to grab this Sarah large angled contour brush, 30F. And I'm going to go into this first shade and this last shade. And I just kind of go back and forth mixing those together. This is Subconscious and Sombre. That's what they're called. Oh, got a little bit too much on there. So I'm just going to kind of tap it at first. That way you don't get too much product in one area. And when you're contouring your cheeks out, you want to go right along with the corner of your mouth, right under your cheekbone there. And this does give the illusion of, you know, a higher, bigger cheekbone. But also at the same time, if you contour your cheeks really, really like defined and angled and cut, it is going to make you appear older. It gives you an older like look. So if that's what you're going for, great. If not, then I wouldn't suggest doing it. You can make it more rounded to have a more youthful look. And so you guys will notice that I am very picky about my contour. Now I'm going to go in with another, it's like a bigger concealer brush type out of that 12-piece Eye Credible set by Morphe. But I'm going to use this to do a little bit of contour on the nose with. Using those same two shades of that Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. And I'm first going to create like, that's my son for you, a V shape right here on the tip. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab a little bit more. And we're going to, right here where this is going to create the celestial button nose. Right here where your nose kind of starts to go out into the flare is where you want to keep this. And we're just going to put a little circular line right here, right in the middle, across the bridge of your nose. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of the product and just go straight down the bridge of my nose on one side. And then on the other side. Mama. What is that, boy? Mama. What? And then I'm going to take some of the lighter shades, probably this one in the middle called Lyric. It's like a banana color. And I'm going to take that right down the top in between these two darker colors. But you don't want to go over that little arch that you made there, because that defeats the purpose. So, and then I'm going to put a little on the outside here to clean this V up, because I got it a little messy on this side. And then I'm just going to take my sponge and some of that Makeup Revolution banana powder. On the outer edges here. And then I'm just going to take this and kind of dab it over top of this, just to kind of diffuse the color some and blend it. You don't want it to be too harsh, unless you do, and then that's all good, do you, but I don't want mine to be too harsh. And then once we go back over and finish buffing and cleaning, it will look good. Okay. Now, I'm also going to take that same Farrah 30F angled contour brush and those same two darker shades and hit my temples up here, bringing it down in the shape of a 3. So you want to go here in your cheek, and then if you do your jawline, down around the bottom of your jawline, and that's just going to create the illusion of a thinner, more defined jawline. And so, number one rule to contouring your face like this is you want everything to be proportioned. So when you contour your cheeks here, for example, the space in between your contour of your cheek and your jawline, that's what everything needs to be. So you have this here, needs to be the same as your forehead, here, and here. That way you don't have an uneven, crazy looking face. Now, I'm going to take some more of that, no, I'm actually going to take some of my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and clean this contour up a bit. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. I shook it and it all came out. Oh well. It'll be alright. I'm just going to lightly dip into it. And so when I dip my beauty blender, well, it's not a real beauty blender, it's a Real Techniques, but when I dip my sponge into it, see all that product on it? I'm just going to take that and puff it on my hand there. That way we don't get too much. And I'm just going to go right with the corner of my mouth here across. And you want to try to keep a pretty good straight line there. Like so, and you don't want to come down too far to get into your jawline contour, so you want to just stay right in this little area right here. And I'm going to do that on this other side. You like my music? My son is playing. Okay, so yeah. These are the NYX Whipped Lip and Cheek colors. And this is in the shade CoCo Bear. I don't use this very often, so I want to try it again. I think I've only ever used it one time, but it has a little applicator with it. And I'm just going to take some of this and put just a couple little dabs here. And this stuff smells amazing. It smells like cocoa. And I'm doing this first because I am then going to go in with this Bare Minerals Rose Radiance blush. And this is the Vintage Peach. And as you can see, it's really like peachy pink. And I would like to have more of a brown undertone with the look that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to use this right here. I'm just going to take my fingers and dab this real lightly. And then I'm going to go in with some bronzer to kind of diffuse that and blend that all in. I'm going to use the Benefit Hoola bronzer. And I'm going to use this Soho brush. And it doesn't have a number or anything. It's just a big fluffy brush that I like to use for my bronzer. don't want too harsh of a straight line there. So that's why I'm trying to diffuse this down some, but to be careful not to get too far up under my eye and into that brightening area, because you don't want to make your eyes look dark underneath. Okay. Now, I'm going to grab a Wet n Wild brush. I use several different brushes. Don't really have a preference except for on my eyeshadow, Morphe all the way, because they blend out so much better. But this is just a Wet n Wild flat top brush, and I use it for my blush. And I'm going to dip into this Vintage Peach, tap off some excess because there's quite a bit on there. And then we're just going to put that right on the cheeks. Now, some people like to put their blush on the apples of their cheeks and drag it up, or just on their apples of their cheeks. I don't like to do that. I don't like it right on the apples of my cheeks, so I just put it up through my cheek bone. Just to add a little bit of color. You don't want to be walking around looking like a pale ghost. And then I'm going to take this big, this is out of the Mata Mythical collection. This is just a big pointed fluffy brush. And I like to use this just to kind of go over everything. We're going to dust this Laura Mercier's translucent setting powder. And this is kind of, you know, blends and diffuses and doesn't make it so harsh. And I feel like I've used diffuse word a million times in this video, but it'll be okay. And we're going to go over that nose contour. Just to kind of blend it down some too. Alright, now let's get into this eyeshadow. Okay, so now for eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with a few of these NYX pigment colors. I'm going to do a St. Patrick's Day inspired look for you guys. I did one of these looks over on my Facebook page if you guys want to go check that out. But I'm going to do a different one for you guys today on here. So, let's see. First, I'm going to go in with this shade, and it is called Twinkle. It's like a greenish, has a little bit of a teal undertone, sparkly. Let me swatch it for you. It is a shimmery color. I don't know if you can see that real well, but that is what it looks like. And I'm going to go in with this Morphe M441 blending brush. And let's see, before I actually do that, I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes with the NYX Eye Pigment Primer. Might as well keep it in the family, huh? And I'm just going to take a little squirt of that. And you can pick this up at Ulta for like $6. It's not that expensive. I'm just going to put some of that on my eyelid. And bring it up just a bit. And I'm going to do that on this side as well. Now I'm going to grab this other Mata Mythical small like buffer brush. Oof. Still has some powder in it. I use this sometimes to set my under eye with. I'm going to grab some of that banana powder and just set this. That way it's not sticky or tacky, so my eyeshadow goes on smoothly. Get some more out here. just poke myself in the eye. And then you just want to feel and make sure it's smooth and not sticky or tacky, because it will make your eyeshadow patchy looking if it is still wet and tacky. Still a little tacky on that side, so I'm going to grab a little more. And then now I'm going to go in with the M441 and that Twinkle shade. Tap off that excess because it does pick up quite a bit of product. And I'm just going to put this kind of towards the top of my crease. Real lightly. And I'm just kind of using this as a transition shade for another green color that I have. And some people do their eyeshadow first. They do their eyes first and then their foundation and stuff at the end. I don't personally do that just because I've always done it this way for my entire life, and it's really hard to get in the, like, change of things, I guess. So I just keep doing it this way. And if I have any fallout, I just take a big fluffy brush and dust it away. You don't want to smear it or rub it because it's just going to mess up your foundation or powder or whatever you have going on. So the number one rule to eyeshadow is blend, blend, blend. Okay, now I'm going to next go in with this shade called Kryptonite, and it is a darker green. Like this. I know the camera is not doing these colors justice on the swatches, but you guys will see once I get it on. Tap off that excess, because as you can see, it picks up a whole lot of product. And I'm just going to go right over top of that with this darker green. And I'm not applying too much pressure to my brush because I don't want it to get blowed down real low on the lid or up high too much on the brow bone. And I'm going to do that over here. And I just kind of tap it on there at first, just to kind of evenly spread out the product. Grab a little bit more. Okay. Now, I'm going to grab that bigger flat top brush that I used earlier. Well, it's not big, but I like to use this for my crease. This is one of the brushes out of the Morphe 12-piece Credible set. And I'm going to go back in with that Shape Tape and cut the lid out. Just because I did get it down a little bit further than I wanted to. So I'm going to clean that up. And I'm just staying right with like the shape of my eyeball. Alright, now that we have that done, I'm going to take some powder and set this as well. That's the main thing, is if you have something wet, you want to set it. You don't want to leave it wet because it's going to really mess your eyeshadow up. So I'm just going to grab some more of that banana powder. And you can use whatever kind of setting powder. I have Kat Von D setting powder. I have Laura Mercier or Mercier setting powder. I also have a Maybelline Face Studio translucent powder that works really well. Let's see. I'm just going to grab just, woo! Drop the brush. Oh well. I'm just going to grab this little Wet n Wild Fluff brush because it's smaller. Take some of this banana powder and set this. Still a little tacky. This side is good. Still a little tacky on the edge here, so I'm just trying to get this smoothed out. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to take this brush out of the Morphe. It's just like a pointed bullet brush. And I'm going to go in, just dipping into this lime green shade called Insomnia, which I feel like I have most of the time because I don't ever sleep. And I'm going to put this on the outer corner here. Whoa, that grabbed way too much. Oh, lordy. I like these NYX pigments because they are so pigmented and you can create really bold, beautiful looks with them. But at the same time, they are so pigmented, you have to be careful. And then a little on the inner part of the lid. Excuse me. I did drop a big glob of this down on my face, so I'm going to try to get that here in just a second. Thought I knocked all the excess off, but I guess I didn't. Okay. So, I'm just going to grab that big fluffy brush and just knock that away. Hold on just a second. Alright. Now I'm going to grab this Morphe M321, and I do keep my brushes in their little wrappers because I have cats that like to mess in my brushes and they get their little cat hairs all in them. So then I'm going to go in with this shade called Luna. It is just a white shimmery shade. Don't know. I just grabbed some on my brush and I am going to spray it to make it more vibrant, I guess you would say. And I'm just going to tap that right in the center. Just going for kind of a halo look because the last St. Patrick's Day look I did over on my Facebook Live was a cut crease. Well, a double cut crease actually. So I figured I would do this one as a halo. I don't know if I'm loving this Luna. I think I'm going to actually go over it with this other one called Brighten Up, which is a golder like shade. That would be a really pretty highlight too. Let me just go over top of that. I think that would look better. Oh yeah, much better. I was just taking that pointed bullet brush that I did the light green with and blending so there's no like harsh edges for the halo. Alright, looks better. Now I'm going to take that same small, let me see. I have a smaller one. I'm going to take that same shape, the bullet like smaller. I'm going to do a bottom lash line color with this. Bullet color. I think I'm actually going to go in with one of these Morphe singles that I got. And this is in the shade Aloha. Do a swatch. It's a matte green shade. I think that will look better than a shimmer on the bottom. And I'm also going to be doing a Easter themed look here soon. I got some really pretty colors from Morphe to do an Easter themed look for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel. so that you guys don't miss out on anything. Looking good. Now I'm going to go in with the Sex Kitten by Tarte liquid liner. This is like a felt tip pen. Let me get where you guys can see. And I know you're not supposed to pull your eye like this, so good advice for you guys. Don't pull your eye out because it will cause wrinkles over time. But I have to. For one, I have these lash extensions on, and they get in the way. They don't make it so even if I don't pull it out. So I do pull it out, but you shouldn't. It's a bad habit. And while we're on the subject of wrinkles, did you know that if you sleep on your side, it causes more neck wrinkles? You're supposed to sleep on your back. Neck wrinkles. I don't know if y'all call it that. Okay, let's do a wing. And when you do a wing, you want to go right, like, diagonal with your bottom lash line. And then I just bring it back in and smooth it over with the rest of my liner. Like so. Now let's do the other side. My eyes are dry. And these lash extensions also get in the way of trying to get close to my lash line. That's why I do like this liner so much. Because it is very precise. Alright, now let's do a wing. I'm trying to stay where y'all can see. And we're going to go in and clean these edges up and make them more sharp too. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara on the bottom lash line. I have to be very careful because I don't have many lashes down here, so I don't want to get it on some lashes. I'm going to do my lashes off camera and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I am back with my lashes on. These are the Ardell Wispies. And I just put a little bit of the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir underneath to blend them in. Now I'm going to go in with this Anastasia Amrezy highlight. Such a pretty highlighter. I just recently got this and I am so in love with it. So I'm going to go in with my Morphe M510 brush. And look at that already. Wow. Wowzer. So pretty. Let me just show you guys how pretty this is wet as well. It's not like a liquid highlight, but it's not like a powder either. It's very smooth. Look at that. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit on my brow bone. And this is just one of those brushes out of that 12-piece set from Morphe. Just a pointed bullet brush. I'm going to spray this so I get a little more intense. You want to let it dry down just a second so you don't smear anything. So pretty. I'm going to do a little on the inner corner. I wish you guys could see this glow better. I don't know if the camera is doing it justice, but this highlight is amazing. Probably the best one that I have. And I have quite a few. So now I am going to go in with this BC Beauty Concepts. It does not have a name, but it is this shade right here. I was trying to decipher what color I was going to use, so I swatched some on my hand. I was wanting to go for a more coral type color. And I've never worn this one, so I don't know how it wears or dries down or looks or anything, guys. So this is kind of a first impressions of this lipstick. It dried down pretty well on my hand. And I'm just blotting my lips together. I already have big lips, so I don't like to overline them. But this is a very pretty color. It's a little sticky right now. I don't think it's all the way dried down. Okay, let's spray my face with the Mario Badescu cucumber spray. I prefer this one over the rose water. Okay, so this is the finished look. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. Turn your notification bell on so you will get notified every time I upload a video. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.